Here's part one of my Rubik's Cube series, invented by the Hungarian architect Erno Rubik in the 1970s, and it was to demonstrate something for one of his architecture classes. And he found out that after he had made one of these, he wasn't able to solve it for a couple of months. He struggled with it. But then he didn't realize just how extraordinarily complicated these things are, and it's really mind-boggling when you think about it. There's actually 1.43 quintillion different possibilities on a basic Rubik's Cube, and that's with all the edges where they should be at the starting point. Meaning if you take a piece in the corner here and flip it, this creates far more than 1.43 quintillion possibilities, and actually a cube like this can never be solved. And so that's one problem, especially if I know people who have these cubes, they've just had them in their apartment or whatever for a long time, and they haven't been able to solve it. Maybe they've gotten frustrated, or maybe a piece has fallen out and something has changed like that, and so they end up with something that no matter what you do, you can't solve. So first of all, if you're going to pick this up, at least start with a cube that's already fixed. Because you know, even looking at it right now, I can't remember exactly what I did to mess it up, and in the end you'll come up with a piece that's out of order. Anyway, this is the standard Rubik's Cube, and this is one that my dad gave me before I left for Vietnam. And when you first get these in the official Rubik's package, they've got the seal at the bottom, but this wears off over time. They're actually very loose when you first get them. They're very nice. And these are the heavier beginner's cubes. But over time, they really wear out quite a bit. You can see it's quite stiff. You can't really flick it that easy. And so, of course, this one's been solved hundreds of times. And I lost it at one point at one of the schools I worked for out here. And when I finally got it back, I found it in the teacher's lounge, and it was really worn out, and it was not solved. And I looked at it, and it's like a ODD thing. If I see one of these and they're not fixed, I just have to fix it. So anyway, that's just some basics about the cube. To understand it, it's good to think of it like a chessboard, where if you think of a chessboard, you know, the middle has the most power, and so often you're playing for area rather than pieces, and that's one strategy that a lot of chess players use, and that's the same basic idea that I use going to a Rubik's Cube. And by that I mean you've basically got three types of pieces on any 3x3 Rubik's Cube. You've got center pieces, you've got edge pieces, and you've got corners. The centers never change, and the corners change the most, meaning that no matter how you twist it around, you know, green is always opposite blue, yellow is always opposite white, and red is always opposite orange. So no matter how much you mess it up, you'll always have these pieces basically solved, is what I would say. They're pretty much solved because they never change where they are. It's only the edges and the corners that change. And so that's some basics. So like on this is my main cube. This is like a speed cube. And you see it's marked quite well because in the middle here we have a round piece. The round pieces never change. The edge pieces are slightly rounded, they change less, and the corner pieces are squares, and those you know, that they are marked three ways. They have three colors. You know, the edge is always just one color, or I mean the center is always one color. The edge is two colors. The corners are all three colors. Okay, it's squares, and so it's good just to think about just how the cube is set up before you get any further. Now it's going to take me a few videos to go through the entire solution. But it's not as hard as you would think, and I encourage everyone to try it. This is how I learned. It was on YouTube, and I actually learned a beginner's method, but I want to teach everyone the full CFOP, or Friedrich method, and that's what is used to break records right now, and that's what just broke the record in Virginia a few days ago. And the CFOP, that's cross, F2L, PLL, OLL, and none of that makes sense right now, but I think what I'll do is I will just solve one of these and I'll talk my way through it, and then in coming videos I'll go through each step so that you can learn how to do it on your own. And so again, just find a new cube, get one that's already solved, and don't worry, mess it up as much as you want, because even though there are so many possibilities, the solutions all pretty much work out the same way. I mean, it's the same basic idea. I'd say it's about half intuitive and half memorization. But enough talk, let's scramble this a little bit more and let's talk through a solve here. So here I have a cube that's pretty badly messed up. It doesn't take long to scramble these. I'm not sure what the exact rules are for speed cubing, for how many turns it takes. But here we have one that looks reasonably scrambled, okay? So with this method, what you do is you start by making a white cross. And a common question that many beginners have for me is, well, can it be a cross in any color? And it's true, you can start with any color, but to memorize where all of the colors are and what each side should be, it's better just to start with one color and stay with one color. And pretty much every time I solve it by starting with white. And you'll notice that in any Rubik's Cube that you find, there's some marker on the white part. It's sort of like the ace of spades in a deck of cards. So here is a white cross. We have green against the white, which means on the other side, of course, it has to be blue. So how do we get the blue piece here? Well, we look for the blue piece. It's over here. So we have blue opposite green. So then we have red over here and orange over here. So maybe you see what I mean. It helps to memorize it just with white, because then you can know where all the colors are supposed to be. It becomes more intuitive. So here we have the red. This is very simple. You just slide it right over here. So then we have most of the cross complete. And then finally, orange. We put orange up here. Very simple. We can just slide it right over. Okay. You'll know if the cross is done correctly if it goes too deep. So we have green, green, red, red, blue, blue, orange, orange. Any white cross on any cube, no matter how it's scrambled, can always be done in under 8 moves. So the first step to learning how to solve the cube is to solve the white cross. And don't worry if it takes you a long time as a beginner. At first it took me 20 or 40 moves to get this figured out. And I actually practice this as much as I practice any other step. And so looking again, let's see, orange, green, blue, red. I mean, it's so easy for me now, but I've had many thousands of hours of practice at this point. Okay, now, so we've got the white cross solved. The next step is to solve these two corners. And when you're solving the cube, you just want to get the first 2 layers done. So here's what it looks like. We want to put for example, this corner, we've got it solved. Green and orange. Then over here, orange and blue. Blue and red. And then red and green. And I got kind of lucky there, but usually it takes a bit longer. So there we have it, 2 deep. And we have, you can see it looks like much of the cube is already solved. So we've got the white at the bottom, and now we've got 2 deep. So this is the basics. And what I just did there, I did quite quickly, but it takes a while to learn. You just need to figure out. It kind of reminds me of Tetris, where you find the large block and you slide it in. And that's the next step. It's called F2L, or first 2 layers. Okay, the OLL step is where we solve for the yellow surface on the top. Okay, so now that we've got this much figured out, we want to get this yellow surface. And this is all memorization of algorithms, and I don't have all these memorized. There are actually 52 altogether. I only know about 10 or maybe 20 of them, not even half. But there's a way to get through it quickly, which is called the two-look, where you just memorize just a couple of algorithms. And it doesn't take that long. There we go. And that was just memorizing 2 separate algorithms, and those aren't that hard to pick up, especially once you learn the notation, but we'll go over that in my OLL video. Okay, now finally, what we need to do is solve this layer right here. We've got everything else figured out, but we need to get this. And there are 21 different possibilities. One of them is automatically solved. So it's possible, like with a lot of record breaker speed cubers, you might get lucky and have it all solved anyway. Here, this is kind of a difficult pattern and one that I haven't memorized. Again, I only know about half of these, but I have ways around it. What I do is I align the corners first, then switch the corners. Then I have all my corners figured out, and then it's a matter of rotating these edges, and again, just memorization. No, that didn't work. There we go. So it takes longer sometimes, and sometimes it's easier. It's a lot of it's luck, a lot of it's memorization. I've got a couple more scrambled here on my desk, so I'm going to solve them quick. So again, we start with the white cross. This one already has the white cross figured out. Just needs F2L. Just no big deal. Way too easy for me. And it will be easy for you with practice. I said thousands of hours. It can't be thousands of hours, but I have solved these things thousands of times. So here we have the F2L figured out. And then we need the top. Boom, boom, boom. Oops. Got the top figured out. And then, boom. See, I got lucky there. It just all automatically filled in. And there we go. One more. Here we have, this one's not too bad. This is the one that I messed up, so we'll figure out what piece I changed. So here we have the F2L. And then we have boom, 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 boom. Now see, I spotted it because I know that this is an impossible shape once you have the F2L, because this isn't in part of the, or no, I'm wrong. Yeah, see, this isn't in part of the 52. There has to be something up here. So I would guess it's this one, maybe? It's fun solving these when they've been messed up, or when someone hands me one that, well, here, like I said before, I lucked out and I was able to get all of these aligned at the end. So anyway, yeah, this was just a test video, and I just wanted to see, I think the lighting's kind of bad, we'll fix that out. But I just wanted to introduce Rubik's Cubes before I start doing a series on speed cubing, because it's a lot of fun, and once you start doing it, you'll get hooked. And it's great to carry these around. It's an excellent bar trick, you know. And when I drove a taxi out in Illinois, I would carry this in the taxi, and I would sit there. And as a taxi driver, you know, I'd go to bars, and I couldn't drink, so I'd sit there with my 7-Up, and I would just do this, and people would walk up to me, and they'd ask me if I was a genius and all this. And it doesn't take a genius; it just takes a little bit of neurotic practice. But I am going to show you how to do it step by step in the coming videos in what I call my Rubik's Cube series. Thank you for watching. Jinka Jabo!